Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening. My name is Lakshmi, and today I'm going to talk about Oracle applications technical view. Basically, it's a demo session for Oracle application, Oracle Fusion applications technical training. So we're going to start now, and it might take 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 45 minutes in between. And I have muted everyone. So if anyone have any questions, you can unmute yourself and keep asking the questions. And if you have any major questions, you can keep it with you, and I can take it up at end of the session. Okay. Okay, let's start with. Okay, today's agenda is I'm going to talk about what is Fusion applications. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. So what is Fusion applications and what is the Oracle Fusion applications architecture and what are the Oracle cloud deployment options and SaaS model versus PaaS model. And then we get started with the real implementation of Fusion applications and how security is implemented in the Fusion applications and what are the kinds of inbound integrations, outbound integrations, what are the Fusion reporting tools, and how we extend and customize the Fusion applications, and what is Fusion user interface, and how we can create the pages in Fusion using application development framework, ADF. And finally, we talk about workflows in the Fusion applications. So that's our agenda today. And let's start with. Okay, so what is Fusion applications? So Oracle Fusion applications can be best described as built on open standards-based platform. So what do you mean by open standards-based platform? It means Oracle has got best-in-class technology components together and built the Fusion application on top of it. What do you mean by the best of technology components? That is Oracle service-oriented architecture, the WebLogic server, and the JDeveloper IDE integration development environment, and Oracle Business Intelligence reporting tool, Web Center portal, Web Center content, Enterprise Manager, identity management. I'm going to talk about each and individual technology component in the next slide. So based on this best-in-class technology component, Oracle applications were built. Okay, so and as these best-in-class technology components are being used, it enables a quick configuration of any kind of applications, any user interface applications, or any business objects, or any business processes, or any business logic. We can quickly do the configuration on top of it because we have the best-in-class technology components which we can reuse them to develop and deploy any kind of application. And not only that, we can reuse the systems and technologies, and it's very easy to manage applications because those are maintained and provided by Oracle. They give the support and they give the guidance on how to use these technology components. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this individual components in the next slide. So these are the technology components. On these technology components, they have built best-in-class business processes. So what Fusion did, when Fusion was announced, by the time Oracle has an e-business suite that is a proprietary tool, and it also bought PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Oracle On-Demand CRM tool. And they got all these applications and they picked up the best processes in each and individual application and have combinedly developed the Fusion applications. That's why I'm saying built on the best in business processes. Okay, so these two things, best in business, best in technology components, and best in business processes combined together can be called as a Fusion applications. And these are the applications from where they picked up the best in business processes. Once we have this technology and processes, they have also given in the Fusion application, we have also have a provision to deploy. How do you want to deploy the applications? They have given several options. One is public cloud, other one is a private cloud, and third one is on-premise, fourth one is hybrid. So public cloud, where we actually share the same application, multiple clients share the same application. The database schema has the security in being involved. So we're going to talk about this one as well in the third slide. So public cloud is shared application. Private cloud is a private cloud specific to the client and hosted by Oracle. On-premise, where you install applications on your own server or on your company server. Hybrid means some of the components of the application you can host in your company, and some of the applications can be hosted in the cloud. That is called hybrid. So they have given various deployment options. So this is one. These three things combined together, we can call as a Fusion application based on technology components, business processes, and various deployment options. Okay. So let's go further. So I will talk about the Fusion architecture, and then in the Fusion architecture, I'm going to talk about these processes and the technology components, and then I will talk about the deployment options. Okay. Coming to the Fusion architecture, any application will have three parts: front user interface, application server, and database server. Any application has these three. In Fusion also, we have these three, and they are the front-end user interface. I would call it as Oracle Fusion Applications Product Families. Application server, I will call it as a Fusion Middleware. Database server is an Oracle database. Okay, so let's talk about each and individual component. What is the Oracle Fusion Applications Product Families? It's nothing but Oracle has given various components, various modules, various functionalities out of the Fusion application. Human capital management, finance management. Under human capital management, they have categorized different offerings like global human resources, talent management, workforce reward, workforce management, work-life solutions. So they have given a solution for each and every HR processes in the world. Similarly, financial management, project financial management, procurement, supply chain management, customer relationship management, government risk and compliance. So they have given the several offerings, several modules out of the Fusion applications, and we have to buy the licensing for the respective product, and we have to enable it in our Fusion environment. And also, apart from all these things, they have also given functional setup manager and dashboards and KPIs and extensibility framework over all these modules. Okay, so yeah, so these are the different models Oracle has offered. These are the Oracle product families, and this family is keep growing. Okay. Let me mute. Okay. Okay, I got a message from NSK and Moto ePower that not able to hear the voice. How is my voice now? Can anyone confirm? Is it audible?
Yeah, it's audible.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Okay, right. So this product has been offered out of the Fusion applications, and we have to plug in and plug out this product into the Fusion application and keep using this. Okay. And on top of every our product, we have functional setup manager, which enables the implementation of each and individual product family. It itself is a module which is used to implement any of the product family here. And every product family will have the dashboards and key performance incentives and pays customizations and extensibility framework available for each and every family. Basically, these two are also a product family. Technically, they are different uh, uh, top tiers in the database application server. Okay, right. So this is the product families. So coming to the middleware. Middleware is actually a little bit vast to discuss. So I will try to finish it up as much as we can. So middleware, we can divide the middleware into two parts. One is Oracle Fusion middleware infrastructure components only for the Fusion applications. Okay, it's not for everything. It's only for the Fusion applications. So before talking about the Fusion middleware, let me tell you this. When I say the Fusion middleware, it doesn't mean that this middleware is meant for Fusion applications only. Not that. If you have the Fusion middleware, if you have licensing for the Fusion middleware, you have a provision to deploy your custom applications and integrate with external applications and maintain both custom applications and Fusion applications. You have the provision. Okay, that's why this middleware we have divided in two parts. One is Fusion middleware infrastructure components, which are applicable only for the Fusion applications. And second part is Oracle Fusion middleware components, which are more generic, which can be used across any application which was deployed on the Fusion middleware. Coming to the first one, the Fusion middleware infrastructure component for Fusion applications. It has the first one, Oracle Fusion middleware extensions for applications. It means whatever Fusion applications we have, whatever extensions we can do on the Fusion applications, those extensions are stored in this Fusion middleware extensions for applications, which is part of the Fusion middleware infrastructure components for Fusion applications. So what are the middleware extensions for applications? Basically, user interface shell. If you do any personalizations on the screen of the Fusion application, or any customization on the screen of the Fusion applications, those extensions, those customizations will be stored on the user interface shell. Additional flex fields. If you wanted to enable any custom field on any page of the Fusion application, custom field, they call it as a flex field. The flex fields are of three types: extensible flex fields, key flex fields, and descriptible flex fields. We can talk about that later. So if you enable any additional components on top of the Fusion applications product family, those additional components will be stored in the Fusion middleware extensions for Fusion applications. And second thing is Oracle Enterprise Scheduler. Oracle Enterprise Scheduler is nothing but where we can provide scheduling services, like where we can schedule a job, where we can define a job, and where we can schedule it, and where we can run the jobs on demand basis. And that job can be a Java job or a PL SQL job or be a report. And these jobs, we can use it to run the jobs concurrently and create a job request. Job request, nothing but a set of multiple jobs. We can do all that stuff in the Oracle Enterprise Scheduler. Okay, this is also a part of the middleware component for Fusion applications specifically. Okay. Yes, Enterprise Scheduler is same as concurrent program in the, if anyone is Oracle EBS background, it is same as concurrent manager. And the last one is Oracle Enterprise Crawl and Search Framework. So what does this mean? So it is a very good functionality. Typically, if you wanted to search anything in the Fusion applications, okay, if you wanted to search for any, let us say you want to create a supplier, example, or you want to create an employee, or you wanted to search for some list of values. So what you can do, you can go to a search, there is a search page where you can go there and enter the keywords like create supplier. And if you say search, then what happens, it internally go and search across all the product families and look for that particular task where this keywords is matching, like create supplier, where this create supplier functionality is available across all the Fusion product families, and it bring that task in the search list. And if you click on that task, you are directly landing into that create supplier page. It is very nice feature, and it has a this Oracle Enterprise Crawl and Search framework actually uses another component in the Fusion middleware. We're going to talk about that, enterprise secured search, and then it will search across all the Fusion application for product families and bring back the results. Okay, I will show you when I go to the Fusion application in a while. Okay, so these three are the these three are the only components actually, right, part of this Fusion middleware infrastructure component for Fusion applications. Coming to the Oracle Fusion middleware components, which is more generic, it means it is being used by the Fusion applications product families and also any application that is deployed on the Fusion middleware. Okay, these are the list of components which are available in the Fusion middleware. Okay. Yes, ESCF. Okay, and again, this enterprise crawl search framework will only search the product families for which you had the license or which you enabled in your Fusion applications. We talk about enabling the applications, enabling the offerings in a while. Whatever applications are available, what are the product families are available in the Fusion, only those families you could able to search using this functionality. Okay. Coming to the Fusion middleware components, we have these components available in the Fusion middleware. The first one is application development framework. It is actually very important framework. It is Java Enterprise Edition framework that actually used for application development using Java and deploy it in the Fusion middleware. So using the ADF, you can create your custom applications, or you can extend the Fusion applications and deploy it on the Fusion middleware. So it is used for that. And next important thing, and again, the ADF framework is being used in Oracle JDeveloper, which is used for building the service-oriented applications by using the latest industry standards like Java, XML, Web Services, SQL, and SCA. Okay. And next one is Oracle SOA suite and BPM suite. It is actually very important. Oracle service-oriented architecture suite is very important part of this Fusion middleware, which actually gives a complete integration process foundation that connects to IT, business users, customers, and anyone involved in this Fusion applications. All those things will be connected together using this service-oriented architecture, and which actually internally uses this BPM suite, where we can create the business rules, how to interact with the different applications. And also we have something called Oracle Business Activity Monitoring, Oracle BOM, they call it as, which actually used to create the alerts in any of these business processes. If you want to create any alerts, if this process is not running in a specific time, you're running for longer time, or that business logic is not being executed. So using Oracle BAM, and we have something called Oracle Business to Business, which actually used as a service bus to connect between different systems. And also, as I said, BPM suite, which internally uses this BPEL, Oracle Business Process Expression Language, which actually used for to create the workflows and approvals, those kind of things. And next important thing is Oracle Identity Management. Oracle Identity Management is actually used for the whole life cycle of a user creation, assigning roles and responsibilities to the users, and termination of the user, whole life cycle of the user creation to user access to user security to termination of the user. The whole cycle is being maintained in identity management. if you assign any roles, if you want to assign any responsibilities to the any user so that user can access any application in the Fusion, then identity management is a place where you go there and assign the necessary functionalities and necessary security roles to that user. Okay. And Oracle Business Intelligence, which can be called as OBIEE, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition, which comes along with the Fusion middleware, and which is actually very good business intelligence tool that gives a complete infrastructure to create any kind of interactive dashboards, proactive intelligence and alerts, or any enterprise reporting applications. All those things can be created using OBIEE, and along with OBIEE, we also get a BI publisher where we can create the pixel perfect report and deliver to the multiple channels based on our needs. And next one is Oracle Data Integrator. Oracle Data Integrator is actually a data warehousing tool which actually used for data integrations or ETL, extract, transform, load processes from the Fusion middleware to external applications, or similarly bringing the data back from external applications into the Fusion. We use Oracle Data Integrator. And Oracle Secure Enterprise Search, as I was saying, this Oracle Secure Enterprise Search works along with this Oracle Enterprise Call and Search framework. As I said, when we search for any task or any functionality, this Oracle Enterprise Call and Search framework talks to Oracle Secure Enterprise Search and pulls the data. Why that security? Because we should not show up every task for any user when they're trying to search. Based on the roles assigned to them, based on the responsibilities assigned to them, the security should play the role. And also the secure enterprise search has indexes and necessary database tuning techniques can be used while searching the data across thousands of tasks which are available in all these product families and bring back the data. So those kind of tuning and security is built in this Oracle Secure Enterprise Search. Okay, and the last one is Oracle WebLogic Server. It's actually all the components what are we seeing here. Almost most of the components are deployed on this WebLogic Server. And it also supports Java application. It acts as Java application server that deploys any kind of Java application and custom applications over this WebLogic server. And also it supports all the server-based components to get deployed on the server. Okay. And Oracle Web Center Portal. Oracle Web Center Portal, it's actually an integrated set of components for building social applications, enterprise portals, community, social site, and composite applications for your enterprise. So all those things we can use Web Center Portal to we can quickly create any enterprise website or social site, anything. And this Oracle Web Center Portal uses the SOA, service-oriented architecture, to talk to the remaining components. And the content, we will be seeing the Oracle Web Center content. If anyone has worked in the Fusion, they can see Universal Content Manager and Oracle Web Center content, where actually we keep the documentation or manage the content of an enterprise. It enables you to leverage document management, web content management, digital asset management, record retention. All those things can be achieved using the Oracle Web Center content. And Oracle HTTP server, it's actually what will is a web server basically, which will listen the incoming connections and response back based on the request being received from the external systems or external users. And for Oracle WebGate is nothing but HTTP server gate. Basically, whenever any request comes into our system, this WebGate actually first authenticates it. If anyone coming to our system like, hey, I want to access my personal information, so they will first authenticate that. Okay, who are you? Okay, what is your username and what is your password? Do you have a proper certificate? and then it will allow the connection going to the HTTP server, where HTTP server, based on the request being received, the response is being sent back to the end user. And Oracle WSM Policy Manager, other words, it is called Web Services Manager Policy, which actually have the list of enterprise level policies. If any request that is coming into our system, first of all, that request has to pass those policies being designed for the company. Example, our company needs for any external user to come into a system, they should have the proper SSL certificate enabled in that connection. So only then that connection is enabled. So those kind of policies can be designed at Web Services Manager policy. And the last one is Oracle WebLogic Communication Services. It is nothing but it's like a click to dial functionality. It will have all the web services registered there, and we have to invoke the respective web services to get the task done in our whole applications. So it's like that. Okay. Now, and all these components will talk internally together, and internally together, and they also talk with Oracle middleware infrastructure component for Fusion applications using Oracle Enterprise Manager. When I say talk, it means that Oracle Enterprise Manager typically do the health check between all the systems, make sure all the components are up and running, and everyone is talking together and nothing is going down. So health status and system status will be being continuously monitored by this Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Applications Control. Okay, so these are the complete components of the Fusion middleware, and in reality, based on what kind of licensing you have, what kind of service you are being used, the availability of these products will come into the picture. Okay, when I talk about deployment options, and then I will talk about what kind of services Oracle is offering today, and then based on those services, you will see which one is enabled, which one is not enabled, which one will see in your implementation, which was not seen. Okay. Okay, we have seen middleware. Now the database. So we have Fusion database has two schemas. Basically, one is Fusion application schemas and other one is Fusion middleware schemas. Fusion application schemas, nothing but product family schemas. Fusion middleware schemas, nothing but which stores the middleware component specific things. Okay. Now let's connect all these three things together. So we have the product families, all the products, and we have the Fusion middleware, and we have the Fusion database server, and these three things should again talk together using the Oracle Enterprise Manager database control will enable these databases to talk each other, and we have something called grid control or cloud control, Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control, which enables talking all these applications together. So it is the Fusion architecture, and with the way the trend is going on, the way the projects are going on, yes, we may not be using most of these middleware components in our day-to-day Fusion implementations. Maybe if it is outside of the Fusion implementation, yes, we are using it. Most of the Fusion implementations, most of them may not be using it, and most frequently being used would be the application development framework, identity management, Oracle Server Suite, Oracle Business Intelligence. And these are the very frequently used, and data integrator based on the client need. Data integrator, maybe if some clients may be having a better ETL tools on their thing, so they may not use this. So most of times we'll be using the application development framework, Server Suite, identity management, business intelligence, and enterprise search. Okay, right. So let's talk about the deployment options now. Now, once we have the application ready, and then once we choose what license we are going to take, let us say we are going to take human capital management and financials. And
hello. So here my doubt is like all these components being controlled by cloud control or what? Like
It's yes, all these components will talk together. All these component statuses is being continuously monitored by this Oracle Enterprise with Cloud Control. And and talking to these two things happens through SOA. We have a business B2B database. Those are different components which actually talks to these applications. And enterprise manage is all about the health status, make sure everything is up and running, and making sure everything is talking together. Okay.
Everything is being managed by this enterprise manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Carry on. Thanks.
Okay. Coming to the cloud deployment options. Once we have application ready, so what we wanted to, how you wanted to use our application. So any application, we need an infrastructure. Infrastructure means a physical infrastructure where we need a physical server, physical database, and a network. So we should have all the infrastructure. So what Oracle told us, I am going to give you 3 ways of using the infrastructure along with your Fusion applications. Number 1, I will maintain the data center in the cloud. I will have my own data center and I will host your application here. Okay. So, and what you can do, you can come to my data center. I'll give you a URL to you. Take the URL, come to my data center and access the application. Now, there's 2 things while accessing the application. Number 1, your application is being shared across all the users. When application is being shared, all the users means it doesn't mean the data is being shared, only the application. Only the application is being shared, but whatever data is there, that data is visible to the respective client only. Okay, client A can see only the client A data, B can see the B data, C can see the C data, but they all use the same application. Think of a database where we have multiple schemas, and if you log in with your username, then you can see only your tables and views. Think in that perspective. This data center, they categorize in such a way that only the user A can see the user A data and the respective can see their own data, but application is being shared across multiple people. When I say application is being shared by the multiple people, what does it mean? The business processes or the application flow is same for everyone. If A wanted to change that process flow or the application flow, then they won't allow it because it is shared application. If they do change for you, it is being affected for everyone. So they won't allow it. Then you cannot go for a shared application. What you can do then? In that case, if you really wanted to change the business process, then you cannot go with a shared application. You should go with a private cloud, where they will give they will maintain your application, and they will give a separate server for you in the data center only for company A. It means only company A can access that specific server and no one else can access that. In that case, this company A has all the rights to do any kind of changes over the application. Okay, this is called private cloud and it is called public cloud. So public cloud is application is being shared and data is specific to the individual customer, but application as it is shared, it is not, business processes changes are not allowed. It means you cannot customize your application much, but you have some level of customization allowed. You can change the look and feel of your screen. You can change the properties of a field over the screen, but you cannot create a new page and you cannot integrate that new page with multiple pages, and you cannot modify the business process flow, and you cannot modify the seeded functionality. You have to use what is given. You have to use out of the box functionality. So that is called public cloud. And where if specific data center is assigned dedicated to you, that we call as a private cloud. And some other clients, what they will do, they don't want to host data into the Oracle center, and what they will say, I will buy infrastructure and application from you, and I will host myself, my network team, and my DBS teams will host the data in my own company, and they will host it on on-premise. So here we are purchasing the infrastructure, and we are purchasing the software and hosting it on-premise. So it is the third version of deployment. And we have one more called hybrid version, where some components, some Fusion products, example, out of the, let us say, finance is hosted in on-premise, and HR is being hosted on the cloud. So that is hybrid model. Some components are hosted in the cloud and some components are hosted in the on-premise. That is called hybrid model. So we have other model as well. Okay. So
See,
base
the difference between private cloud and on-premise is like private cloud, the data will be maintained by Oracle, but means we are having our dedicated application, and if you want, we can able to change the do the changes. But in the case of on-premise, everything database, everything is at the client place, and means like they are going to maintain everything. Means Oracle is just we are going to buy license from Oracle, and everything will be maintained at the client side. Is my understanding?
Yes, that's right. Next slide is going to talk about that, basically whatever you just told. So I will cover that. Okay. So, and fourth one is hybrid model. So based on the model you choose, they call it as the different models. In this case, where application is being shared, and if data is individual to the respective companies, that is called where you're using the out of the box functionalities, that is called software as a service model. And where here data center is individually given to you, it means still the infrastructure and still the maintenance is taken care by Oracle, and but this server is dedicatedly given to you. It is called platform is given to you. It means they're giving platform as a service to you. Then this is called platform as a service PaaS model. And here you are getting the infrastructure from the Oracle. So, and you are taking the infrastructure as a service from the Oracle. So as you're maintaining the infrastructure on-premise, which is given by the Oracle, that is called infrastructure as a service model. So this is the difference between SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. Okay. To demonstrate it, let us say my software package is here. Example, it is my software package. Okay. We don't have IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. Now, let us assume we have only my software package. If it is my package, then I have full control to my application, my data, my runtime system, my middleware, my operating system, my virtual network, my servers, my storage, my networking. I have access, control, complete access to everything because it's my package, software package. Okay. Now, if it is SaaS model, all these things will be maintained by Oracle. So when I say red, it is managed by the vendor, it is Oracle. When I say blue, it is managed by me, as managed by our company. Okay, in the SaaS model, everything is red, means everything is maintained by Oracle. They maintain the networking, they maintain storage, they maintain servers. All this infrastructure, whatever infrastructure is there, all this infrastructure is given by the Oracle, and as well as the middleware to database to application, everything will be maintained by the Oracle here. We don't have anything to do here. We can't do anything. We have very limited functionalities here. Okay, because everything is maintained by Oracle. Coming to the PaaS model, where Oracle is giving us infrastructure, separate server, and they will host our application and database, and that application and database we have full control. So that is my application and data is owned by me, and remaining everything is owned by the Oracle. The last one, as you're buying infrastructure from Oracle, so if any issues happens with the infrastructure, as we are buying it from Oracle, Oracle has to fix those infrastructure related issues. If anything is with respect to middleware, anything with respect to application or database, they won't support because it's bought by us and we have to support it. And as they gave us the infrastructure means the physical infrastructure, and they will support if any issue happen to the physical infrastructure, Oracle has to support that because we bought a you bought a physical product from them. Okay, it is called IaaS model. And as of today, industry, most of the projects are happening with SaaS and PaaS model. Okay, most of things, it is software as service model or platform as service model. Only either of these two things are happening in our industry today, and most of the projects are running in the SaaS or PaaS model. Okay, reason is simple. Companies don't want to maintain the infrastructure. Companies don't want to have additional database administrators or network team resources. As Oracle is taking care of everything for them, why should they worry? So even if you see, the world is changing now, the GDPR rules in the EMEA countries. So to accommodate these policies, if you go with this Oracle or standard providers, they take care of the globally changing policies and rules, and they enable the security compliances. They take care of the data security. So when they're taking care of everything, so what all we need to do? We just need to enable the application and make it run. And that is one sole reason most of companies are going through SaaS or PaaS model. And even now the current trend is 80% of the projects are going in the SaaS model. The reason is, first of all, it is cheaper, and and to implement any project in the SaaS model, even PaaS model, is in weeks. It's no more months. Those days are gone. Any implementation can take in a weeks. Okay, it's not about, it doesn't include the impact assessment though, but if implementation started, we can finish it up in a weeks and deliver it. So that is the reason SaaS and PaaS models has got more and more popularity. And as you know, SaaS, we have very limited customizations. We can change the user experiences, and we can change some data field properties, and we have very limited, there is a way to change the business processes, but it is very, very limited. Coming to the PaaS model, as we have given the application access, as we have given the database access, so we have a provision to create our custom applications, and we have provision to customize the Fusion applications, and we have provision to access the database at the full extent. In this case, access to database is limited. In other words, in the SaaS model, even we can't try to create or insert or delete DML, DDL statements in our database. We don't have access to the database in the SaaS model. That's not possible. In the past, as we have a database access, we can have a full control to write all our custom specific components. Okay. Okay, so we have seen enough fundamentals about
Lakshman? Yeah, IaaS and on-premises both the same, or is it different?
In on-premise, for on-premise, if you bought infrastructure from Oracle, it will become IaaS. If you own by infrastructure from Oracle and even infrastructure you accommodate yourself, then it is called complete on-premise.
Can you please repeat it once?
Okay, so in this IaaS model, you bought infrastructure from Oracle. Okay.
Okay.
So if you own by infrastructure from Oracle, and if you could able to gather the infrastructure by yourself,
okay,
then it is complete on-premise model. It won't be called as IaaS anywhere.
Okay.
In this case, as you're buying infrastructure from Oracle, it is being called as infrastructure as a service.
Okay.
Okay. If you won't buy it and if you get it, then it won't be called IaaS. Then it is called a pure on-premise application.
Means what that red is referring to?
Red is referring to maintained by Oracle.
So in IaaS model, the servers and storage, still it will be maintained by Oracle only, right?
Yes, yes. If any issue happen to that physical component, Oracle is responsible to replace it, or Oracle is responsible to fix it.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing, so personalizations or any changes which we done in application, okay, that won't get stored in MDS layer?
Yes, it will be. Same thing as what we do in EBS. Yes, it stores in the MDS layer. That's what I was telling about Fusionware.
Fusion middleware extension.
Yes, extensions. It stores in the UA shell. So more specific, I was talking about user interface shell, which is also where that extensions and customization will be stored as a metadata tags, MDS, as you said.
So it will get stored in database tables only, right? Finally.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Thanks, Lakshmi. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we spoke enough about this one. Let's get started with the Fusion applications now. Okay, let's start how the implementation begins, where we begin with. Okay, let's say our company has decided to go ahead with Fusion applications. Then what they do? Typically, they contact Oracle and they contact Oracle Account Manager for your company, and Oracle Account Manager will finalize that. Okay, let's go ahead with this licensing, and you decide that okay, I go ahead with finance, supply chain management, or human capital management, or CRM, whatever. You take some licenses. So once the licenses are taken, let us say you have chosen the public cloud or private cloud or SaaS or PaaS model example. I'm saying in both the cases, the Fusion is being maintained by Oracle, right? So at the beginning, your administrator will get an email like this. So this is an email template I have attached here. So typically this is the example that we bought Fusion HCM cloud service. So when we buy this, then we get an email from Oracle like this saying that, hey, you identified as an administrator for your application. So please find the URL below and username here, password here, domain here. So they will give the details here. Okay, and when they give the details here, they'll give a link to my account and my service. This happens. It is the beginning of the project. So once you decide for the licensing, you get this email, and that email will have my account administration link. If you go to my account administration link, there you can see what applications you got licensing for. And here, if you see, you got licensing for HCM, and you have licensing for production and test, 2 instances. So you can go to my account page anytime, where you can see the status of how many people are logging in, what is the page load time, what is the status. It will give you the complete status any point of time. As it is maintained by Oracle, whenever you go and log into my account, then you could see what are all the services are given to you, and each service, what are the status. And if you click on this more details, then you can see who is the administrator, and when we bought it, what is the licensing details, what offerings can be enabled with this. We have all the information here, along with what is the status. Do you have any downtime, or do we have any blackout periods, or anything like that can be seen here. It also gives us the reports, how many users logged today or yesterday or before that, and for last year. We can get those reports as well. We can get every information in the my account, which is available in the administrator email. And this email has second part, this one. They also have an email for my link for my services. My services, nothing but if account is having multiple services, each service can be called as an individual service. So even if you go to individual service, example for the HCM test, for the individual service, you can see the status as well. So that is called Cloud My Services. Typically, this is the beginning of your project implementation. If you want to start the project implementation, if you are implementation consultant, or if you are the administrator within your company, this is the first email to begin with. You should have that, and where you will have the URL link for your application and your domain and your setup and maintenance URL, which is also important, and your customer CSA number. Once you have this, it means you are ready to start building the application. Now, okay, so you got the URL. So what next? What next means what is there in that? Now coming to the Fusion core terminology. So Fusion will have offerings. So when I say offerings, product families. I was talking about product families before, and if someone has from the e-business background, we can think of responsibilities. We can think them as a offerings. And in generic terminology, what Oracle did, Oracle typically they created the solution sets representing one or more business processes and sub processes that are typically provisioned and implemented as a unit. Okay, example: supply chain management is one offering. Risk management is one offering. So in this instance, if you buy out a license for supply chain management, means this supply chain management is enabled, remaining everything won't be enabled. The remaining all disabled. If you have a licensing for the workforce deployment, typically global human resourcing, then you will have this supply chain management and this one enabled, and remaining everything will be disabled. If you want to enable anything else, then you have to get the licensing, and then you could able to enable that. Okay. Once we have the offering enabled, then you should
see one doubt here. Offerings in the sense we can say module. In EBS we'll say PO module or AP module. So we can compare like that here as offering. Or how we can compare?
See, let us say AP, account payables, account receivables, general ledgers, if they combine together as a finance. Okay.
Yeah, finance is offering, right?
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Okay. So yeah, before going further, let's.
I have a doubt actually.
Okay.
In SaaS or PaaS models, will Oracle be informing us about the upgradation of the software or something?
Yep.
Or
They will do. So they actually do the updates every quarter. They do the updates yearly, and sometimes they do the updates monthly. For every update, they will pre-intimate you a couple of weeks ahead, saying that this change is coming up. Please make sure you thoroughly test it. They do it in the test instance. They give a date and do it in test instance, and then we have a time to test it thoroughly, and then they will do it in the production instance. Some updates they will do it automatically. They will just give us the information and do the update, and remaining of them they will give us the time to do the testing. So it depends upon what kind of update they're doing. If it's a small update, it is okay. If it is a bigger upgrade, then they'll give us the time to do that. Okay, so let's go further. Let's learn about few more terminology about offerings. Let us say we have workforce deployment is offering. If you click on that offering, typically that offering will have sub offerings. As someone is saying that if you go to finance will have AP, AR, general ledger. Similarly, workforce deployment will have a payroll, absence management, workforce scheduling. These are called sub offerings. Okay, and every offering or sub offering will have some features. Okay, example, payroll. Payroll has some features. Canada payroll, UK payroll, Chinese payroll. So you have to enable the feature to use it. If you won't enable the feature, then you cannot use this feature. So you have to make sure you are you have the offering enabled and you have the features enabled to start implementation. Okay, and every feature, and this feature is optional. Not every product may have these features. Some of the products may have the features, so it is optional. Okay, example, Financial Hub supports 4 types of accounting representation: currency, currency, accounting calendar, chart of accounts, accounting method. So which one to take out of those 4? So it's like it's a feature. We have to enable that to use all these 4. Okay, once you enable the feature, you're ready to start implementing it. And each feature will have some functional areas. Example, and as I said, the feature can be required or optional. Some of the products may not have the feature set. Like example, if you see payroll has the features, absence management don't have a feature. Workforce predictions don't have a feature. So it means you can go ahead and start implementing the respective module. You can start implementing absence management. Okay. So once you click on that, then that will have this list of functional areas. This is the list of functional areas available in any of that product where we have to start implementing one by one. These functional areas, once we complete this all this functional area to implement, then it means that that respective offering is implemented. And these functional areas, some of them are required, some of them are not required. And whatever is required, we have to implement that. Whatever is not required, we don't need to implement that. Okay. Let us say initial users is one functional area to implement this HR project. So initial users means we have to load the employees into the application. That is the must thing to do. And then we have to create enterprise. We have to create legal structures. We have to create organizational structures. So we have to do all that. Okay. And this is another example where actually sales, if sales is an offering, this sales offering has this lead management, territory management, sales forecasting, partner management as the functional areas. And in these functional areas doesn't have any features, but lead management has a customer edge feature. If you want to enable it, customer edge feature, then you can use that. If you don't want to enable it, you will just use the lead management functional area. Okay. Now, when we click on that functional area, okay, example organization structure is there. That functional area, we have to implement this functional area. Example, we have defined the organization structure. Means we have to define the business unit. This business unit is called a business called a business object. Or if you want to implement a legal structures, a legal entity will come. That legal entity is called a business object. So this is the end point where we have to start configuring the things or start loading the data. Example, business unit is there. If you wanted to create data or load data for business units, maybe our company has already some divisions or business units, maybe hundreds of business units are already there in our existing application or a custom application or a EBS. If you want to move from EBS to Fusion, that data has to be loaded into this component. How do you load that? That you have to use import and export services. So the reason I just wanted to navigate from here to here is I just wanted to say what is the terminologies we have in the Fusion and where actually the real technical work will start. Once we know what to be done, then there we can start looking at what business object we have to start working on it. So what import and export processes we have to keep running on it. Okay, so we'll talk about these things in detail once we start our technical sessions. Okay, so this is what happens. Typically, for any implementation, as I said, all those things like whatever offerings, functional areas, or features, everything will be here. And based upon the line of business, we will implement finance or sales or workforce deployment based on what is configured in our functional setup manager with respect to offerings or functional areas or features and business objects, and we do the implementation. That is the typical flow actually. Okay, let me quickly show you how it looks like. Okay, so what I do, I am into the Fusion applications now. So this is how the Fusion application looks like, and I am the super administrator. As I'm a super administrator, I'm having access to each and everything. So every access of all these components, every component has its own security role. So when we talk about security role, I will talk about how each and individual component access is coming up, and how do we know what access levels are needed for what component. Okay, it's very, very neat and clean. Oracle has given that. If you follow the steps very clearly, then you can easily able to figure it out. Okay, so don't worry about the steps. I'll walk through again. I just want to show you where we can see the offerings. So this is the list of offerings what I was showing. So if you see, these are all these offerings are enabled in this instance. Basically, it's a training instance. That is why everything is enabled. Say if I go to workforce deployment as I shown you there. So this workforce deployment, here we can see the features. What features this workforce deployment offering has? It has all these features. So payroll, sorry, it has all these sub offerings. In this payroll has some features. Absence management don't have any features. It means you can start implementing the absence management. You can click on the setup. If you click on the setup, you will have all the functional areas which we have to implement for that absence management. If you see the legal structures, so we have to create the manage legal address, manage legal entity, manage registration. Okay, so if you see here, it means that when I click on legal structures, you have to implement this. If I click on this one, what is going to happen? We are going to land into the manage legal entity task, where you can go ahead and create the legal entity. Okay, so this is this mechanism Oracle has given by default as part of the implementation structure. You can follow these steps and do the implementation accordingly. Now, this legal entity is called a business object. So if our company has, let us say, 30 legal entities or 50 legal entities, how do you load the legal entities into the system? Do you go ahead and create it manually here, or you load it in a better way? Yes, we have a way to load that. That is called import and export processes. Okay, and this is called task. Okay, this is called task, and all these tasks together can be called as a task list. Okay, so here I have just given the quick implementation methodology of Fusion offerings. So we have offerings, we have features, we have sub offerings, and some business processes. To implement any offering, it will have some list of tasks, and we have to go to each task and each business object. And for each business object, we have to load, import, or export data from external applications or other applications. And at the end, we have to deploy it. We have to deploy it on the Fusion application. We'll have a deploy URL. So it's a quick snapshot of how the typical implementation takes place. Okay, no need to worry in detail. So I'm just giving you a quick snapshot on it. So don't worry about that. And we're going to see each and everything when we go into subsequent sessions. Okay. Okay. That's a quick implementation methodology, how we do in the Fusion applications. So let's talk further about how the security is defined in the Fusion applications. Okay. Fusion application security is, let us say, assume that you implemented the offering. Example, you have done all these steps. Example, you have done all these steps. Okay. Once you've done it, when you implemented this module, it means people will get access to this module. So who should get what access? That's a typical security, right? So how the security works in the Fusion applications. Okay. So Fusion application security goes with who should have access, and what should they see, and which data they should see. Example, employee can view the payslip for themselves. Line manager can give the merit increase, the salary hikes, to whom? For workers in their hierarchy only, but they cannot give merit increases for the different workers who are in different hierarchy. They can't do. Similarly, HR specialist of North America can do the transfer of the employees for US and Canada only. They cannot do the transfer of any employee outside of US and Canada. So who, what, and which data. So this is how typically the security is defined using the role-based access control. RBAC, role-based access control, is ANSI standard security process flow, which is authorized as approved as international standards in 2007. And those security roles are inherited by Oracle, and they inherited that role-based access control for Fusion applications as well. Okay, based on who means based on what job they are having, or what kind of person is that, and what function, what page they can see, what screen they can see, what list of tasks they can see. On that screen, what data they can see based on job, screen, data. Those three things will play together as a role-based access control. Okay, so role-based access control typically it actually has 5 types of roles defined in Oracle: data roles, abstract roles, job roles, aggregate privileges, duty roles. Based on these 5 types of roles, this Oracle role-based security model has defined. Okay, and next screen I'm going to show you what these 5 roles are. And typically in this security model, there is a provision to write our custom security rules as well using some SQL queries. We have to do some SQL queries here to create our custom security profile, and where we can secure the data to show the respective end user. Okay, example, let us say HR specialist. What Oracle has done, Oracle has given most of industry standard job roles. Whatever the standard job roles are there, any company, Oracle has read across all the company's functionality roles, like typical HR analyst, what they do, typical financial analyst, what they do. So based on what they do and what level of access they should have, what they did, they have identified, okay, financial analyst will have access to these 100 screens. So what they did, they created a job role by default. Okay, example, HR specialist, they have created a job role by default, which will have access to user screen, which will have access to the address screen, national identifier screen, and the create workation screen. They have created a standard data role here. This human resource specialist is standard job role given by the Oracle. They create it. And while creating it, they will say that this person, this role, this job role should have access to these screens. So when I say aggregate privilege or duty role, it is nothing but a screen. Okay, they say that this job role will have access to this screen. So they give this job role, Oracle gives it. So what we need to do, if we go and study this job role, we have documentation for that. Go and study this job role, HR specialist or financial analyst or supply chain management specialist. Go and study the job role. If job role is satisfying our company needs, then we have to assign this job role to a data role. Example, it's human resource specialist, job role is assigned to HR specialist vision services company. So this is a data role, which is a combination of HR specialist for vision services company or HR specialist for vision corporation company. So only this company data has to be shown for this in this job. Okay, just try to understand. Okay, when we talk about in depth in our sessions, upcoming sessions, you will completely understand. So they assign a job role to one role that is called data role. This data role will have a profile called security profile, where we can restrict the data should show up only for vision corporation. This security profile is only for vision services. So we actually, customer can extend job role and define data role specific to their organization needs. Once you create the data role, we just assign it to the user. So when Lindsay Allen, we assign this data role, it means that this Lindsay Allen can have access to all these screens. In all these screens, they can only see the Vision Corporation data. In this case, David East got Human Resource Specialist Vision Services data role. It means that this David East can see all these screens, but only for the Vision Services employees data. That is how they define the security role. So I just gave a simple example here to understand how the security role will work. But when we go in our sessions, we will have a detailed sessions of at least 4-5 days, I'm thinking, which will talk completely about how the real technical part is being involved in this creation of data roles, job roles, aggregate privileges, specialist, duty role, and many other things. Okay. Yeah, that is how security work. Let's go to the next step, the integrations, the inbound integrations. How does it work in the Fusion applications?
Yeah, Lakshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we'll have predefined job roles which will give you access to the user interface, like responsibilities in our EBS.
Yep.
So which will give access to forms, right?
Exactly.
And
yes.
there will be a data roles which will be mapped with a security profile to restrict the access to only specific data.
Exactly.
So and that data role will be mapping with the job role, is it?
Exactly, yes. So that the mapping of job role to the data role should be done by the customer. Okay, that's important.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that data role will be assigning to user.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the inbound integrations. So inbound integration is nothing but, as I shown you, in any implementation, we have the business objects or other things where we have to send data to the Fusion applications. Okay, so how many ways we can send data to the Fusion applications? Okay, so let us assume that you are in a SaaS model. Let us assume if you are in a SaaS model, as I said, you won't have access to the database. If you don't have access to the database, when you can't, access means you have access to database, you can only write the select queries, but you cannot write the DML statements. You cannot create, you cannot insert. When you can't do the insert, or when you cannot call a procedure, or we cannot write a procedure, cannot write your own procedure, own PL SQL package, then how can you load the data into the Fusion applications? So that's a very big change compared to what we are using today, the EBS application or any custom applications. Very, very big change. So for that, the way of loading the data, way of extracting the data from Fusion application is completely changed. It was not anymore like what we have before. Okay, so what I categorized here, if you wanted to load, if you have load to, let us say we have in-house application or any other party application from where we need to bring data into Fusion application on day-to-day basis. Okay, example, if you are getting data from the banks, if you have if you have custom application, or if you have EBS application where we are maintaining finance, and Fusion applications where we are maintaining the HR data, maybe those two applications should talk together. Or you have many in-house applications where you have to feed data to the Fusion applications for some or other reasons. Okay, so there are a couple of ways Oracle has given to come to talk to the Fusion applications. So what I did here, based on the volume of data, if it is low to medium volume of data, and if it is one-time data or very rare occasion of loading the data, then we can use the spreadsheet data loader that is called ADF DI, ADF Desktop Integrator, otherwise Application Development Framework Desktop Integrator. We have ADF DI, which can be used to load the data through the spreadsheets. Okay, so it means you are manually creating this data in the spreadsheet and loading into the Fusion applications here. Okay, it's a manual task. Okay, loading the data. And second thing, if you have a high volume of data, then for finance, they have something called file-based data import, that is called FBDI. For HR, we have HCM data loader, it is called HDL. Formerly, it was called file-based loader, FPL. So if it is a high volume of data, if you have hundreds of records, thousands of records, and you have to do the load very frequently or daily or frequent, means 2 times a day or very frequently, then you have to go with a file FBDI for finance and supply chain management, and HCM data loader for all HR family products. Okay, so we're going to talk about everything in detail. Okay, and once we have these processes up and running, we can automate those data loading as well using the SOAP and REST web services, which is going to play a very key role in loading the data into the Fusion applications. Apart from this, we also have some specialized data loaders, which actually, for loading some kind of business objects, we have to use different loaders which Oracle has given specific to this business objects. One example is payroll batch loader, and there are some loaders where in that you can go to that screen and download the data. And download the Excel plugin and load the data on the screen itself. Okay, so I will show you that one as well. Those things are called specialized data loaders, which are specific to those screens. So these are the list of data loaders through which you can load data into the Fusion applications. Okay, and similarly, outbound integrations. How do you export the data out of the Fusion applications? So most important thing here. So example, if you want to Fusion applications to in-house or third-party applications to the ADP, payroll, or banks or benefit vendors. So the primary thing is be a publisher. We are used to use it very, very frequently. Be a publisher. It is the only way to export the data out of the Fusion to the in-house or any third-party applications. And we have something called OTBI, is Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence Tool, which is a child of Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition family. And I'm going to talk about OTBI in detail. It is one other way to bring the data out of Fusion applications, and other ways, most dynamic way, using SOAP and REST web services. For every business object, we have a SOAP or REST web services, which we can use those web services to pull the data out of the Fusion applications into our destinations. And for HCM, we have one more thing called HCM extracts, which are also a very powerful tool to pull out HCR data out of the Fusion applications. Okay, so these are the ways to pull out of the Fusion applications. And in any Fusion implementation, more than 50% of implementation work goes into this inbound and outbound integration. I would say more than 70% of implementation work goes into that. For that, you have to identify what kind of integration you are doing. It means, are you doing a one-time data load or it is an ongoing data sync process? If it is a one-time data load or ongoing data sync process, that varies based on what kind of deployment you are choosing. Are you choosing a full deployment? Or are you choosing a coexistence model? What is full deployment? What is coexistence model? Full deployment means, example, let us say we don't have this cloud anymore. Let us example, they don't have anything. Let us say we have only EBS. In EBS, I have example, let us say talent management, core HR, and payroll. Okay, so what I decide, I want to move everything out of my EBS into the cloud. In this case, in the top case, I'm moving talent, core HR, payroll. I'm going out everything and moving everything to the cloud. It means it is one-time movement of data from my source system to destination system. This is called full deployment. In this case, all your effort should be one-time data conversion. You don't need to worry about any changes or anything like that. It saves a lot of time. If it is a coexistence, you don't want to move everything. You want to move only talent module out of this EBS and want to keep core HR and payroll with you. This is called, you are maintaining talent management here and you are maintaining core HR and payroll here. So both are dependent upon HR data. It means both should talk together every day. It means to and fro communication should happen every day. This is called ongoing data sync process. So this is happening in the coexistence model. So based on what kind of deployment you are choosing, you have to do the assessment, and based on that, the effort will change. So we should be very thorough. And we'll talk about that in details in our inbound processes. And outbound integrations. Outbound integrations, you have to plan based on the volume of data. If your organization has less volume of data, then it is preferable to send data directly from the Fusion applications to the respective systems. If the volume is too high, then it is better to have a middleware, maybe your on-premise, some middleware, and send the whole data into the middleware, and middleware just use the ETL tool or something like that and distribute it. If you have a licensing in the Fusion application as well, you have licensing in the small application as well, some ODA licensing, then you can use the ODA middleware, so middleware here, and split the data to multiple systems. So plan it. That's what it means. Okay, right. So that is how inbound is something to make sure how the outbound work, and the reporting tools what we have in the Fusion. Here, as I said, the reporting tool is nothing but OBIEE, Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. So OBIE will have three parts: OBIA, BA Publisher, and OTBI. OBIA, Oracle Business Intelligence Analytics. Okay, so these thing won't comes as part of a SaaS or PaaS model. Out of SaaS or PaaS model, it won't come that. So whatever is grayed out here, these things won't come out of the box as part of the PaaS or SaaS model. You have to buy it separately. As it is not coming as part of SaaS and PaaS model, as it is grayed out, I'm not going to talk about this. So the things we have to bother about SaaS and PaaS model is BA Publisher and OTBI. If you see that, why I say OTBI? OTBI, nothing but it's also a Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence tool where we can create a rich reports, visual analyticals reports, graphs, pie charts, tunnels, trellis, funnels. We can create a very rich analytic reports in OTBI. Okay, BA Publisher is actually where we create a BA Publisher reports, XML Publisher reports using the Word or Flash or Excel sheets or XML templates, where we can create a pixel perfect report in BA Publisher. Okay, so both the BA Publisher and OTBI typically refers to the Oracle Fusion Application Transaction Database. Okay, and when I said database, BA Publisher can able to write SQL queries out of the transaction database. That is why arrow is directly coming from the BA Publisher here. But OTBI won't touch database. We won't write queries in the database. OTBI, we will just drag and drop the values. We are going to have a detailed session of that later. So OTBI, you can just think of a visual analytical tool where actually we can drag and drop and create the reports. So it won't hit the database. It will hit the business view objects, the BI view objects, which is a part of ADF components, where we won't hit to the database directly, but we are going to hit the view objects. And we are going to create a reports in a BA Composer and BA Analysis. Okay, even BA Publisher has a provision to bring data from BA view objects and create the reports. Okay, we are going to talk about each and everything, and we're going to work on each and every component what I'm showing up here. Okay, yeah. So OTBI, and I said OTBI is a fully integrated with Fusion and requires no additional system or security configuration, no need of additional licensing, and no additional configuration. If once it is enabled, your Fusion application is enabled for you, then you can go ahead and run reports in OTBI. Because OTBI will have some pre-packaged reports. When I say pre-packaged reports, Oracle has built some reports for us. You can just go and run it. Or you can create your ad hoc queries in BA Composer and BA Answers. You can create your own reports in the Composer and Answers, which both are part of OTBI tool. Okay. And as I said, ready for use once Fusion is provisioned and data is available for reporting. And another important use of this OTBI is it inherits Fusion HCM user roles and security profiles. It means that if some example, if a line manager go and run a report in OTBI, that line manager can only see the data of his subordinates. Line manager cannot see the data of anyone else. So at reporting level also, we have that security feature enabled. That's what I was saying, inherits the Fusion roles. And another major advantage of this, if you create any OTBI report or dashboard, you can embed that report into the Fusion application itself. It means that if you create a report, I can go ahead and embed that report into the Fusion application here somewhere in my, if I go to, let us say, my dashboard. If you go to my dashboard, I can embed a report here so that whenever that employee logs in, they could able to see the report directly whenever they log into the system. We have that level of flexibility, and it's a very quick and easy way too. Okay, that's OTBI. And BA Publisher, as we all know, in BA Publisher, basically we can create a data model. That data model, we can create SQL queries, or we can refer the BA view objects, and we create XML file, And once we have the XML file, we can create the layouts in the Word or Acrobat or Excel or Flex or others. And once we have that layout ready, we can deliver the data in different formats, in PDF, interactive, HTML, Excel, PowerPoint, and different output formats. And once we have the data, we can deliver it to respective destinations too, through emails or printer or fax or data warehouse or e-commerce, any place we can deliver it. So we have that full flexibility in the Fusion applications. We can create data models, we can create the layouts, we can get the output formats very quickly. I can deliver it to the respective destinations without any issues. We have that full level of provisioning in the BioPublisher. Okay. So it's all about inbound and outbound processes. Let's go further and talk about extending the Fusion applications. Okay. So it takes another 10 minutes, so please bear. So extending the Fusion applications. So how you can extend the Fusion applications? Yes, we can add the custom fields. If you wanted to add any additional standard custom fields on the Fusion applications, we can do it by descriptive flex fields or active flex fields or extensible flex fields. And we have in the SaaS model, our PaaS model, we have a provision to modify existing fields like a make field required, show or hide a field, change a field label. If we wanted to do any user interface level, field level property changes, we can do them fairly easy. We have some language called expression language, which is called EL. I'm going to talk about expression language when I talk about application development framework, and then I will apply that knowledge when we do the customizations as well. Okay, so and also we can tailor the user interface in the PaaS model. We can do the tailor the user interface like changing the page layout, create the new pages, add new objects and fields, and expose them in the new page, adding new buttons and links to existing pages. So we can have those. We can do that on the user interface in the PaaS model. And not only that, we can embed the OTBI reports in the Fusion applications. As I was telling you, we can embed the OTBI report on the My dashboard of the Fusion application, and we can create a mobile specific pages, and we create reports which are specific to mobile screen, which can fit into the mobile screen, and we create the same report into the desktop screen. We can create same report in the tablet layout. We can do that as well. Okay, we have several tools which we can use. Tool 1 is Space Composer. Tool 2 is Application Composer. Typically, we use it in the customer relationship management, and we have to do some level of coding. If you want to work on the user interface only, then you can use expression language, Groovy code, HTML, JavaScript, and some web services. And using that, we could able to tailor the user interface very quickly. And we have one more ADF part, the application development framework. Using that as well, we can do huge level of customizations on our Fusion application screens. Okay. So don't think. Let's not worry about all these below things. Let's think this is the field. It's text field, which is available on the Fusion applications. If you want to change the properties of it, you can change it by setting some properties. Or if you want to, let us say this text field is there, and you want to hide the text field if the country is US. Or if you want to hide this text field if person logged in is not a manager. For who are not managers, I don't want to show this field. So those kind of if-else conditions can be handled using expression language. Okay, or if you want to make it disabled, or if you want to make it read only for everyone, then you can do that at the property level of the field. Or if you want to do it conditional property change, you can do it using expression language. Okay, so these things are available. These two things are available for SaaS model. SaaS model, software as a service model. They can do only these two things. If they wanted to go beyond that, then SaaS model won't allow it. So SaaS model, we can play around till expression language. If you wanted to go beyond that, then you have to go to PaaS model, and that can be done through ADF, Application Development Framework. Okay, so ADF is actually it's a very powerful tool. It's a powerful framework basically, which uses a JDeveloper tool, which simplifies Java development by minimizing the need to write code. It's just drag and drop kind of facilities are available in the ADF development, where we can quickly create the pages, and where we can quickly develop the task flows and do the validations basically. And this ADF is based on the model view controller architecture, MVC architecture, which I will talk in detail in my further sessions. Okay, so in detail, in quick to say, so model is actually where we pull the data. Okay, that data comes from any of these processes. Okay, once you have the data, this data will be visible in the view. View means the front end, the user interface. That can be browser, that can be a mobile, that can be a desktop. Okay, so when we show it up on the user interface, how the data should show up, how the flow should go. If I click on this button, where to go to next? If I click on that button, where to go next? What is the task flow that can be controlled by the controller? There's three parts which are available in the ADF part, model view controller. These three things will rule how the system should behave. Okay, so ADF is a part where we can use to do more customizations on the Fusion applications. So in our sessions, I may not be deploying the Fusion. I may not be extending the existing page because we don't have the server available for that. But I'm gonna show you how to create a standalone page, and I will show you deploying the standalone page in WebLogic server and run it. Okay, and I want to show you how that expression language is created and how we can play around that, how we can apply it to the Fusion applications. Okay, and the last one in our session today, the workflows. So if anyone not aware of workflows, workflow is nothing but it's a process in which tasks are routed automatically among users for their action, right? Example, if I hire an employee, typically the person cannot be hired unless it is approved by the first manager. Once the first manager approves it, should go to second manager. Once second manager approves it, go to third manager. Once it is approved, a notification will go to the recruiter and the person will get hired. So hire cannot happen just like that. It should flow through multiple processes, right? That is called workflow. Typically, workflow is Fusion application uses the approval management extensions of Oracle SOA suite workflow services. So here we use Oracle SOA BPM, actually business process management, where we can create the workflows. In SaaS model, we cannot create the workflows. We can only modify the workflows. In PaaS, we can create the workflows. So where we can create the workflows or modify the workflows, that the key components are being used in this workflow is SOA approval management extension and business process management and Oracle human capital management. So this SOA AMX enables us to define complex multi-stage and task routing rules, and BPM actually where you can create the policies, create the rules, and create the configurations. Basically, BPM is the place where we do most of our work, and HCM delivers like supervisor hierarchy, position hierarchy, like that. Okay, and as I said, BPM is a place where we can configure when to issue approval notifications, what actions are available for approvals, and what to do when error occurs, when task expires, should it be escalated. So all these things can be taken care in the BPM. Okay, so with that, I think I'm able to complete what I was supposed to do. So yeah, and yeah, if you have any questions, you can shoot me. Else maybe I can share the PPT with Ravi. He can share this PPT back to you.
Lakshman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we customize existing pages also using ADF?
Yes, we can, but provided.
Model?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So in case of EBS, to customize OA like OA pages, we need to we won't be able to download the entire source code, right? So if let's say if we need to modify the controller,
Correct.
just we'll download that
Correct.
controller file and we'll make the changes and we'll deploy only
That's
that
true.
folder, and in form personalization will make changes, right? So
That's true.
how it will be here?
Same thing applies here too. So exactly in EBS, if you wanted to modify a page, basically that particular package, you will get that into your Dust local machine and you will deploy the changes and send the file back to the server and compile it and deploy that. So same thing applies here as well. Here also we have that every product family has its own package, and
Okay.
every product of sub offerings has their own packages, and every feature has its own packages. So we just need to get that and do the changes to that package and again deploy back to the Oracle middleware and then run it. Same thing. Fundamentally the same. OAF fundamental, ADF fundamentals, both are same architecture wise. The OAF
Okay.
also works with model view control architecture. It also works with model view control architecture. In ADF, the additional advantage is it's actually works with Java faces, and
Okay.
in the ADF framework, all the user interface components, UI components are drag and drop basically.
Okay. Okay.
So drag and drop, and you can see it over the screen how that page is getting rendered. You want to run that page to see that. So it's like visually a very powerful tool. That's why it has a major challenge over the OAF.
Okay. And in case of new pages, so how we will register here? There we will register it as a form and function, all those things, right?
Right. So that form and functionality is not available here. The process is a little bit different here. So
Okay.
yeah, I will share you those steps while we do that. But again, in our sessions, we may not be able to modify the existing page and deploy it back because we don't have that task server access.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but we will be seeing how to create the pages in the ADF and how to deploy it in the standalone WebLogic server and how to run that. I'm going to show that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing, Lakshman. So for web services to like inbound or outbound, so we will be able to use, let's say in SaaS model, we'll be able to use only which are provided by the Oracle, or we can create new web services also.
We cannot create web services within the Fusion applications.
Okay.
So typically we can create it outside of the Fusion applications, and you can consume what Oracle SaaS model has providing to you, and by consuming it, you can play around outside of the Fusion applications. But you cannot create anything new in the Fusion applications.
No, I didn't get exactly, Lakshman. So let's say in case of export, how it works?
Okay, in case of export, let us say you wanted to export some data out of the Fusion.
Right.
What I will do, I will create a BA publisher report in the Fusion. I will create a BA report in the Fusion. I will create a data model that can be completely my own query, right? So I can create my own report. Once I have create my own report, then I can call that report using the web services provided by the Oracle.
Okay. Okay.
I can call that report to my custom application and I can get the data there.
Okay.
Okay, that provision is given. Oracle has given a provision to call the report, whatever you create. That's possible.
Okay.
But because that is a standard web service which is given by the Oracle to consume any BA publisher report.
Okay.
Okay, let us say Oracle Oracle has given many web services to read or write data on many business objects. Okay, so let us say I have a business object of example location. I wanted to create a location in the Fusion using the create location web service.
Okay.
If Oracle is not given the create location web service, example, let us say Oracle has not given that. If they haven't given it, then I cannot create new one in that Fusion, saying that I want to create a new web service, which if we call that from outside of the Fusion application, location can be created automatically. I cannot create it.
Okay.
Whatever Oracle has given to us, we have to consume that. That's what I was saying.
Okay. So basically, in case of import for a specific object, if web services is already available, then only we can use it. Otherwise, we cannot do it.
Exactly. Right? That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Lakshman.
Yeah, no problem. It's Lakshmi actually.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So if anyone has any questions, you can shoot me, else we can drop off. Okay.
And Lakshmi, one last question. So, like when it comes to SOA, so how much it is like in which scenarios we'll be using? Like if we learn SOA, how much it is going to help us in this Fusion?
So SOA basically, if we using SOA, most of the work we do with SOA is the workflows. So as it has a BPM suite comes along with SOA, so most of the work we do in the Fusion applications is the workflows, creating a new workflow, customizing existing workflow, modifying the task flow. All those things can be done using the BPM work list. So that is the part is helpful in the SOA part. And as I said, most of the companies will use the Fusion middleware separately. They won't use along with the Fusion applications. If they use a Fusion middleware separately, then they will explore each and every component. But for us, most of the work we do with the SaaS and PaaS with the SOA is the workflows.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yep.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, then thank you very much for everyone. And yeah, hopefully we can touch base later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.